Hello YouTube, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. You're probably wondering to yourself, it's Wednesday night. There's no wrestling on Wednesday. Actually, there is a lot of wrestling on Wednesday, and I've decided to bring some to you, particularly for this night. Now, I originally wasn't going to do this, but after watching a few minutes of it, I decided, hey, this needs a review. So, what am I talking about? Well, it's not TNA, that's for damn sure. Not to say TNA is terrible now. More like I'm just not really interested in it. But we're going to be doing Lucha Underground. That's right. I talked about this previously in an earlier video several months ago when it debuted on the RA network. The Lucha Underground is pretty much a different take on a mixture of lucha libre style wrestling with some independence mixed in and a little bit of WWE theatricality mixed into it. Now, someone who is no longer a friend of mine, for reasons I won't get into, said that they could be a competitor to the WWE and they just needed more money. Now, this is the thing. Lucha Underground, I don't think deserves to be a competitor to the WWE. It needs to be an alternative. There is no way any promotion today can compete with the WWE at all. The last company that really tried to do that was TNA, and TNA is barely above water. They are barely keeping themselves afloat. So I prefer Lucha Underground to be an alternative to the WWE, which is good because in case you don't like what the WWE is doing, you have alternatives like Lucha Underground or NXT, both of which are on tonight. But anyway, this night is special because this is the built-up 2-hour special or pay-per-view equivalent for their big promotional event called Ultima Lucha, where all their storylines and bookings and matches all culminate in one night. So, last week we had a 1-hour pre-show where the Trios champions, or former Trios champions, Son of Havoc, Evilise, and Angelico lost their belts to the team of the Disciples of Death, who were aligning themselves with Mil Muertes. But anyway, moving on. We got our first match of the night. Johnny Mundo, formerly Johnny Nitro, formerly John Morrison with the WWE, to take on the current AAA Mega Champion, Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio. This was a fantastic opening match. It really showcased the history these two had together in this promotion, in which at one point Johnny Mundo threw Alberto through a plate glass window of Dario Cuero's office. Dario Cuero being the owner and operator of Lucha Underground, who I call Spanish Vince McMahon because that's what he's like. But anyway, this was a fantastic matchup. These two have great chemistry together. Lots and lots of good spots in this match. You will never be bored with this. Both of them win for their signature maneuvers, with Alberto El Patron using his classic cross-arm breaker, and Johnny Mundo using his split-leg corkscrew moonsault, now called the End of the World. This is a fantastic matchup, and at one point the referee takes a bump. Then Patron uses the cross-arm breaker on Mundo, kind of like in conjunction with the ropes, and then out of nowhere, Melina comes back. That's right, Melina. If you haven't been around WWE long enough, you would know that Melina was John Morrison's kayfabe and real-life girlfriend, who was rather known to be very promiscuous in a way. Yeah, she was let go because she refused to do something. I forgot what happened, but she was a former multi-time women's champion, probably one of the more solid ones in the ring, and she had an amazing entrance that I can never do justice. But anyway, she hits Patron with his Mega Championship belt. Mundo does the End of the World on him. 1, 2, 3. Mundo wins, and they are reunited. But Patron ain't gonna let this shit happen. Gonna let this shit go down that way. So he attacks Mundo and throws him through the same plate glass door that Johnny did to him earlier, Dario Cueto's office. Melina tries to get some hits on him, but not knowing that this is Lucha Underground. the women fight as well, and the men fight as the women as well. Not to saying he hit her or nothing, he just spanked her, but that's just to let you know that no one is safe in Lucha Underground. But yeah, Mundo gets his ass busted open. He looks horrible. Ugh. Damn. It's not so sexy no more. Next up, it's a grudge match between Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro. Now, sorry, Cortana was acting up. But anyway, Pentagon Jr. is a luchador you've never heard of, probably. Pentagon Jr. is a guy whose entire shtick is that he's the ultimate fighting machine. In fact, one of his promo videos earlier this year was him facing off against various martial artists from other disciplines and utterly whipping their ass, like boxers and karate masters, judo practitioners, capoeira fighters, and such. It made him look all awesome. And he would go into the ring and he would just break dudes' arms and shit. And he was doing this to everyone. And he would always talk about his master, his unseen master. Well, he was going after one of the female luchadors, Sexy Star, we'll see her later tonight, and was going to break her arm when Vampiro interrupts. Now, Vampiro has been doing color commentary with Matt Striker. They make a very good team, and Vampiro comes in, interrupts it, and he makes himself the target for Pentagon Jr., who a few weeks ago tried to set him on fire by dousing him with gasoline and then was attempting to light the match. So tonight, they'll have their long-awaited grudge match in a Zero Mero match. Now, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, Zero Mero means zero fear. That is Pentagon Jr.'s catchphrase. Zero Mero. But anyway, Zero Mero match is basically a no DQ street fight. Anything goes. Vampiro comes out all decked out in a Catholic uniform, looking like a fucking pope from hell. And the match kind of starts very slow. This is, well, I have to say, this is the most brutal match in the history of Lucha Underground, the short history of Lucha Underground. And this was a bloody-ass match. It started out, and it seemed like the match was going to end because Vampiro got slammed onto the concrete floor that was exposed by Pentagon Jr. And he's being carried out on a stretcher, but then gets back up. And it just gets back in the ring, and they just start beating the shit out of each other. And they even bring in the cellophane lights, you know, those long fluorescent light tubes. You only use those in really, really crazy matchups because it is very easy to bleed from them some bitches. Now, I mean, you get hit by one, you're gonna bleed. And Vampiro ate 3 of them some bitches, and he was bleeding like a stuck pig, but he did not give up. This was not a technical match. This was not a high spotty match. This was just a brutal, bloody battle of attrition. Just who could just beat the ass of the other the most. Vampiro counters with his own fluorescent tubes to the face, fucking up Pentagon Jr.'s mask, and he even brings out thumbtacks, and it just goes back and forth until Pentagon Jr. picks up the win. Okay, the spot that they did this was, all right, Vampiro brings in a table, and he brings out some lighter fluid, which he kind of just haphazardly puts on there, lights it on fire, and I think some of it got on his clothes. And then Pentagon Jr. slams him through the table, and parts of his body lit on fire because I think he spilled some lighter fluid on him. It was kind of scary to look that shit up. And he rolled out of the ring because he was already on fire, and he was just trying to roll and put himself out. And Pentagon Jr. rolls out of the ring and pins him 1, 2, 3. He gets on the mic, bloodied as all be damned, and talks about, "For you, my master." And then Vampiro gets in the ring, and he's like, "My arm, do it!" He's like begging him to break his arm, and Pentagon Jr. snaps his arm, and he's like, "I did this for you, my master." Who he said, and then Vampiro's like, "So you did this for your master, huh? For your teacher? Well, as your teacher, I say that you have passed." So yes, Vampiro was the eluded master that Pentagon Jr. was talking about for months and months. And they did a pretty good job revealing that. Even though I kind of saw it coming, I was still plenty shocked because at one point Matt Striker even suggests that Vampiro is the quote-unquote master of Pentagon Jr., which he firmly denied, and I believed him. And they had even had interviews between Junior Pentagon and Vampiro, and it just seemed antagonistic, and they threw us off really well, and I liked this. So hopefully see more of that. Next up, we have a 7-person match for the Gift of the Gods belt that would grant the owner a title shot against the Lucha Underground champion. This means that over the past couple of days, or past couple of months rather, Dario Cuero, Spanish Vince McMahon, had unveiled these 7 medallions made of Aztec gold, and that each one that people would have to earn these little medallions for a prize that he would reveal. Now, a few weeks ago, after the 7th one was handed out, it was revealed that all the pieces go to this big, nice-ass belt that I really like. And he says that the winner will receive the Gift of the Gods, which is this awesome belt, and a title shot. Who are those 7 who will be participating tonight? Well, there will be King Cuerno, Phoenix, spelled with an F, Sexy Star, that's right, a lady's in this match, Bengara, relatively new guy, Big Rick, or Ezekiel Jackson to you WWE fans out there, Aerostar, and finally, one of my personal favorites from the AAA scene, Jack Evans. I fucking love this guy. But yeah, this was a fantastic multi-person man match. I couldn't even describe how many cool spots I saw. Probably the coolest one was a giant crossbody off the top of the temple by Aerostar on everyone. It was just awesome. Then we had this interference with this guy named Mike the Moth. Some guy who looks white but claims he's got luchador blood in him. I don't know. Who's had a feud with Sexy Star because Sexy made him tap out last week for the final spot in this match. Sexy takes him out relatively easy. Eventually, it comes down to really Jack Evans and Phoenix, and they have this. I really can't describe this. I mean, do yourself a favor and look this match up. It was a fantastic match, and not just because my boy Jack Evans is there, but anyway, in comes with Phoenix picking up the win over Jack Evans, and he receives the Gift of the Gods belt. So yeah, next up, Tejano, the longest reigning mega champion in AAA history, versus Blue Demon Jr., accompanied by 2 members of the crew, Mr. Cisco and Cero. I'm sorry, I don't know all the members of the crew because the crew are just too generic for my tastes. But yeah, this was probably the weakest match on the card. It was more story match than outright technical match because after Blue Demon came out, he handed a note to the ring announcer. Lovely, I forgot her name, but she is very, very lovely. And she says that because of his status as a legend in Mexico, the match is now a no DQ match, which essentially means that the crew would come in and just beat the crap out of him. Then Chavo Guerrero comes out, yes, that Chavo Guerrero, who had his issues with both the crew, Tejano, and Blue Demon. And he looks like he's going to fight Blue Demon, but of course you know it's Chavo. He hits Tejano with the chair again and joins up with this little cadre that's being formed and pins Tejano 1, 2, 3. Like I said, this match was more for storytelling purposes rather than match content. So if you're interested in this storyline, it's worth a watch. If not, you can skip this one. It's just that weak. Now, the main event. Prince Puma, Lucha Underground champion, takes on Mil Muertes, a.k.a. Macias, a.k.a. Judas Macias, for you TNA heads out there. Now, oops, I don't need it anymore. Now, this was a fantastic match that was given a lot of time. It was just an epic back-and-forth match. Now, for those of you who do know, Prince Puma is the first Lucha Underground champion who won at Aztec Warfare, which is like the Royal Rumble, but done right. And he has held this belt for a long time. I mean, he has faced Johnny Mundo, Pentagon Jr., Drago, Hernandez, Chavo Guerrero, the man called Cage, just pretty much anyone and everyone. He's been a fighting champion. And now he faces his greatest challenge against Mil Muertes, who is like the Undertaker of the of Lucha Underground, in that he has more mystical properties to him. And he has a manager called Katarina, who has this special rock that controls him and can raise him back from the dead. But this was a fantastic matchup, and it was just, again, watch this shit. I can't do it justice. But in the end, Mil Muertes picks up the win, becoming the new Lucha Underground champion. And we leave it at that. We leave the show proper with that. Then we have about 5 minutes of filler in which the entire state of the Lucha Underground of the entire Lucha Underground promotion is up in the air because of some shit that Dario Cueto has been doing, and he leaves, fleeing with some woman who came there for revenge. We never see her in the ring, and Dario's brother, who some kind of beast-like dude. And we see all the Lucha Underground stars leave the temple. We see Son of Havoc talking with Angelico, saying, "We're going to get our titles back. See you on the road." And leaves with his woman, with his ex-woman, or Ivelisse, with her riding up front and him riding in the bitch seat. Let's see. We see Pentagon Jr. talking with his master, like, "What's next for us?" I couldn't hear what he said. I'm sorry. Also, we see Phoenix burning out in his Firebird with his new title, followed by someone in a raggedy old pickup truck. And then, last but not least, we see Drago seemingly making an alliance with Aerostar, both of them taking off into the wild blue yonder, leaving the status and question of what will happen to Lucha Underground for next season. That's right, this show has new season. So that was Lucha Underground's Ultimate Lucha. My thoughts? Lucha Underground, you have been pleasing me all year. Like I said, Lucha Underground is the perfect alternative to the WWE. If you think like the person who was my friend, who who I'm not talking to now because she made some comments about me that I didn't appreciate, this is an alternative. People need to get into their heads that there's never going to be another Attitude Era or Monday Night Wars, because no one can go up against the WWE right now. They are going to be the top brand in the world. No one's going to be able to compete with that. We don't need competitors. We need alternatives. There are now plenty of alternatives specifically on this day. Like we have on Wednesday, you have Lucha Underground. Or if you want to watch TNA, you can watch TNA. Or if you want to watch NXT, NXT is the perfect alternative to the WWE within WWE. It's just, you can't ask for anything more. And also Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has a TV deal on Destination America. You can watch them if you can survive through Impact. So you have alternatives. That's what we need right now. Alternatives. Not competitors, alternatives. And this is why a lot of people talk so much about Lucha Underground. It provides you with that alternative by giving you to see different stars from both Mexico and other promotions across the country. I mean, I never thought I'd see Johnny Mundo again or Alberto El Patron again, but I'm glad to see them here, and they're still wrestling spectacular matches. So there's that. And you can see why this show is up for an Emmy. That's right, it's up for an Emmy, deservedly so. So if you haven't watched Lucha Underground, or if you can't watch Lucha Underground, it's on the El Rey Network. Look for it. If you don't have it, see if you can get someone to give it to you. I'm lucky enough that Comcast has El Rey, and I'm happy for it because El Rey is a hell of a network. Not just for wrestling, but for other shows and other movies. I mean, I just finished watching Big Trouble in Little China. Uncut, uncensored. I love you, El Rey. But yeah, this like I said, I can't do Lucha Underground justice. You have to watch it for yourself. Hopefully, it's online for you to be able to watch, or find some way to watch it on your television set, or just find some way to watch it. Lucha Underground is awesome. It is awesome. And that's my thoughts on Lucha Underground's Ultimate Lucha. If you like what you see, link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just want to talk wrestling? Leave them below. I'll get back to you. If you want to support my channel, click that like button. It really does help, as does clicking on an advertisement. Just literally takes a second out of your day. Or if you want to support me directly, it's right there. Just $1. It really does help out. Could use it to get my teeth fixed. So, with that out of the way, until next time, this has been shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good day, and lucha!